Today we're testing out one-star tools from Home Depot, and I'm telling you whether you should avoid them or buy them. Let's go. First up, we have the Milwaukee M18 hatchet saw. This is essentially like a little 8-inch chainsaw, and here is what Kim had to say about it. The hatchet does everything we want it to do. Definitely more than 5 stars. Lightweight, easy to use. 1 star. Kim. That's not... Kim. Let me give you a quick flyover of the things I love about this saw. I love that it has a brushless motor. It is a very powerful saw. It has handled everything I have thrown at it, and honestly, when I was testing the saw, I was probably a little bit too aggressive on what I was trying to cut down with it, because it's not a chainsaw, it's more of a pruning saw, truthfully. However, it gives you great power. It also gives you great battery life. Now, I use the Milwaukee M18 12 amp hour battery. This is a Forge battery. This is, I'm pretty sure, the most high output battery Milwaukee has on the M18 line. So yes, I'm using an expensive battery with this, but it's totally worth it, and it gives me fantastic battery life with this saw. I also agree with Kim, not on the 1-star part, but I do agree that it's very lightweight. It's very easy to use. Ergonomically, it's really nice. So I love all of that. Really, my only gripe with this saw is that I've had issues with oil leakage. Right here where the bar kind of meets the motor of the saw, I've had my bar oil leak. Now, full transparency, I did not use Milwaukee bar oil just because I didn't want to buy something else. I had some steel chainsaw bar oil in my shop, and so that's what I put into this saw. I don't think that would cause the leak, but maybe it would. Let me know in the comments if you think so. I'm guessing there's just a bad gasket somewhere in here, which has caused a very slow leak, which, you know, is just kind of annoying. Besides that, I love this saw. If you're already on the M18 line of tools and you need like a pruning saw or a small chainsaw just to have to use in the yard, I don't think you can go wrong with this. And it's nice that you don't have to buy gas. I would really give this saw 4 out of 5 stars. We have the Ryobi 10-inch battery-powered miter saw, and here's what Pedro had to say about this saw. I bought it at West Colonial Store in Orlando, Florida. This thing, I can't even call it a miter saw. Don't cut even a 2x4 vertically at 45 degrees. It stuck. The disc stuck. I'm not kidding. It's too weak and you'll pay to see if you want, but don't forget I told you right here, right now. I think what Pedro's getting at, if I understood his review correctly, is that the depth of cut is not what he was wanting, because he's saying he can't even cut a 2x4 vertically at 45 degrees. But I'm just thinking, if that's true of this saw, that's going to be true of any other 10-inch miter saw. I've used this for several projects now, and it's very, very powerful. I think the battery life is really, really good, especially if you pair this up with an Edge battery. This saw has a brushless motor. I love that. I really like the shadow cut line system that Ryobi gives you with this saw. I think that's really good. Really, my only gripe with this saw is it has a little bit of like a slow build-up time. Like it kind of like takes a second to get going. Besides that, it's really my go-to saw, whether it's in the shop or out at the job site. I give this saw 4.5 stars. Up next, we have the Milwaukee M12 6-inch sander. Richard says, very difficult to remove the battery. 1 star. I've got to be honest, Richard has a point here. I have a lot of M12 tools. I love a lot of Milwaukee M12 tools. But for whatever reason, it is so stinking tough to take the battery out of this sander. Richard, if you're watching this, you just gave the most truthful review on Google. And Milwaukee, if you're watching this, we need to find an easier way to take the battery out of this sander, because otherwise, this is a fantastic sander. The battery life is really, really good. I think the power is solid. Sure, it's not as powerful as like a corded sander, but I don't really expect it to be. I use this more for like finishing sanding or sanding small projects. If I'm sanding a massive dining room table, this is probably not going to be the sander for you. But for small things, it works really, really well. Vibration on this sander is non-existent. Dust collection on this sander is fantastic. So it's really, really solid, really, really comfortable. I mean, my biggest gripe with it is the battery thing. That really, really is. So Richard, I agree with you on that. I don't think it's a 1-star sander. I give this a 4 stars out of 5. And if the battery's easy to remove, that probably goes up to like 4.75 stars. Next up, we have the Ryobi Link 3-gallon shop vac. Dave12345 said, garbage, do not buy, very light use, basically no suction, terrible. Home Depot customer said, battery did not hold a charge for more than a few minutes, had to return it. And Jill said the fully charged battery only lasted about 3 minutes, tried 2 different batteries. As I looked through a lot of the reviews on this vacuum, I will say that the 2 themes that came up the most amongst the 1-star reviews is that it's not very powerful and the battery life is not very good. Now, I will give the disclaimer that I use 4 amp hour batteries in this vacuum exclusively, and I usually like to use the 4 amp hour Edge batteries. So that's my experience with this vacuum. If you're using like a 2 amp hour standard lithium battery, yes, I'm sure the battery life is terrible. But with those more high performance batteries, I have been totally and thoroughly pleased with this vacuum. Now, let me explain what I use this vacuum for. I use this vacuum to vacuum out my car, do some cleanup around the house or around the shop, vacuum out my attic, things like that. I'm not hooking up this vacuum to a sander and trying to let it be a dust collector and run for 45 minutes straight. Yeah, if you're trying to do that, then this is going to disappoint you. You will be disappointed. But I think the battery life on this tool is very, very good. And that's after me using this for several months. The other thing that people said is they were not huge fans of the suction. They say it doesn't have enough suction. I think on mode 1, they might have a point. It's not the most powerful vacuum. But when you turn this thing on mode 2, I think for a portable vacuum cleaner, it has fantastic suction. I really have 0 complaints about this vacuum. I give this vacuum 5 stars. Hey, before we check out this last tool, and it's got some crazy reviews on it, if I can just ask you one favor. If you enjoy my content and the videos that I make, if you could subscribe to the channel, that would be a huge help to me. Most of you guys aren't subscribed, and I think probably the reason for that is you just don't think about it, or maybe you don't want to, but it's totally free to you. It just really helps me out a lot. I still have the goal this year of hitting 100,000 subs on YouTube before 2027 gets here. So thank you so much for subscribing. It really means the world to me. Now, let me show you this next tool. Finally, we have the Ryobi ONE+ tire inflator. Here's what Jason D had to say about this tool. Doesn't look like it's ready for prime time or any kind of regular use. It might be okay for bike tires. This was bought in May and died in August. It topped off air in about 5 tires. The last one, it licked a flame out of the top, died, and smoked itself to death. I would not leave this inflator unattended in any circumstance. It is a fire hazard. Ryobi makes some good stuff, but the price point reflects the quality on this one. I've got to be honest with you. I have seen other reviews like Jason's where he basically says that these things have a tendency to spontaneously combust. I've used it to top off tires in the winter months. It works really, really great. The only issue that I've had with this tire inflator is sometimes there's a small discrepancy between the PSI reading on this and then the PSI reading on my car. So for example, this might say that my tire is at 35 PSI and my car might say that my tire is at 32 PSI. However, I really don't know if I trust my car much more than I trust this. It's very possible that this is accurate and my car's not. So I guess I need one of those like analog tire pressure meters. However, I don't have that right now. So the next best thing we can do is take this outside and see if we can get it to catch on fire. Okay, so we're outside right now. I'm not gonna hook this up to a tire because I don't want to overinflate anything. What I'm gonna do is just turn this on. And I'm just gonna let this run for a little bit. Okay, I let this run for 4 minutes straight. It did not catch on fire. 4 minutes would be probably more than you would ever let this run for filling up a single tire. I will say the hose definitely got really warm. That's something I remembered from all the times I've used it. However, the tool itself is not warm. The battery's not warm. I don't think this is going to catch on fire. So I don't know. There might be something to it because I've heard multiple people say they've had issues with that. And yeah, the hose gets really warm. However, I could not replicate this catching on fire. So I guess for that reason, I've got to give this 4 out of 5 stars. Now, obviously, I love testing tools from tons of different places and tons of different brands. So let me know down in the comments what tools you want me to review next. Maybe you've seen a tool and it's got some 1-star reviews. You're a little bit nervous on if you should buy it. Let me know and I might buy it. I can review it for you so that way you won't risk any of your own money. So let me know down in the comments, what do you want me to review next? And then after you're done with that, check out one of these 2 videos. YouTube thinks you will love these as well. So I can't wait to see you in one of these 2 videos.